Indonesia's push for peacekeeping operations in war-torn Middle East, especially Syria, Yemen and Libya. Several years ago, Indonesia's President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono jumped at the opportunity to offer his country's finest troops for any UN-backed peacekeeping mission in Syria. It's part of a growing trend of increased Indonesian involvement in missions under the UN flag. Last month, the Indonesian military's Major General Imam Edi Mulyono, a former commander of the Indonesian Defense Forces Peacekeeping Center, was appointed Force Commander of the United Nations Mission for the Referendum in Western Sahara, MINURSO. Leading a multinational peacekeeping mission is a triumphant moment for a country that's been involved in peacekeeping operations since 1957. Indonesian military and police forces are currently deployed on 6 UN operations and is the world's 16th largest contributor, PDF, with 1,815 personnel deployed in total. Indonesia also contributes to one non-UN mission with 15 personnel deployed to the International Monitoring Team in Mindanao. And Indonesia's contributions to UN peacekeeping operations, known as Garuda contingents, are set to grow. Last year, President Yudhoyono declared he wanted up to 10,000 troops to be deployed. But why the big push for peacekeeping operations? At the political level, Indonesia is interested in becoming more of a global player. With greater economic growth and relative political stability, it's in a much better position to devote time and resources to playing a part in international security efforts. And this has been further bolstered by an internationalist president. Peacekeeping is just the kind of activity that's in keeping with Indonesia's desire for the UN to lead international security initiatives. Its traditional non-alignment posture means it's unlikely to join other efforts led by the US. As well, Indonesia's peacekeeping contributions are a way of providing training and experience for a military that needs to professionalize further. The increasing complexity of military assets and the ever-growing contingents of peacekeepers provide opportunities for Indonesia to learn. In 2012, Indonesia sent maritime vessels as part of the UN Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL Maritime Task Force. Sending vessels on longer-range operations in the Middle East will provide lessons learned for TNI on similar tasks in future. In April this year, Indonesia dispatched 3 Mi-17 V5 type helicopters along with 120 troops to Darfur, Sudan. The battalion-sized contingent of 1,288 Indonesian soldiers currently part of UNIFIL PDF is no token contribution, especially given there's a total of 10,585 troops deployed. Here's a breakdown of Indonesia's current commitments by mission. Click to enlarge. In its bilateral relationships, peacekeeping is an area of military cooperation that's more politically palatable for countries that have in the past had concerns about TNI's history. For instance, cooperation on peacekeeping is an important component of security cooperation in Indonesia's comprehensive partnership with the US. Indonesia's peacekeeping activities are further supported by military exercises with the US and other partners like Australia. Military exercises that include peace support activities are Exercise Garuda Shield, held annually with the U.S. Army, and Exercise Garuda Kookaburra, a new desktop peacekeeping exercise with the ADF. With the establishment in December 2011 of a peacekeeping mission education and training facility at the Indonesia Peace and Security Center (IPSC) in West Java, Indonesia becomes a natural host for conferences, exercises and training. With the establishment in December 2011 of a peacekeeping mission education and training facility at the Indonesia Peace and Security Center (IPSC) in West Java, Indonesia becomes a natural host for conferences, exercises and training. In fact, the IPSC is the largest international education and training facility for UN peacekeeping forces in Southeast Asia. In June 2013, the center was further upgraded with the addition of a barracks and training facility, with the support of U.S. funding. Aside from being an important source of training and operational experience for TNI, peacekeeping operations are a source of income. The United Nations pays $1,028 per month for each soldier a country contributes, and some have suggested that this provides an incentive for developing countries to send large numbers of troops. This makes it likelier that a future Indonesian president and TNI commander would support this. On balance, Indonesia's return on its investment in international security has been positive. Gains in TNI training as well as opportunities for partnering with the US and Australia mean that Indonesia will likely continue this practice. For Australia-Indonesia relations, as formal peacekeeping partnerships continue to strengthen, there will be more opportunities to build people-to-people ties and partner in future peacekeeping operations. For Indonesia, its willingness to make more than a token contribution to global peacekeeping efforts draws a reputational dividend. SBY can credibly claim that his country's contribution to global security is both tangible and under the auspices of the UN system. And a new president will be well placed to take up Indonesia's mantle of a good international citizen where President Yudhoyono will leave off. We want a UN peacekeeping mission in Libya, says GNA Foreign Minister. Libya's foreign minister has surprised many on Saturday by calling on the United Nations to put boots on the ground in his country to restore peace. We value very highly the efforts of the UN mission led by Mr. Ghassan Salame, which led to ceasefire agreement in Tripoli, and call on all concerned parties to respect it. Mohammed Sayala, Foreign Minister of the Government of National Accord, GNA, told the United Nations 73rd General Assembly on Saturday. We remain committed to the implementation of the security arrangements contained in the Libyan political agreement, which would contribute to the unification of the military and security institutions, continued Mr. Sayala before throwing his political hand grenade. Priority must be given to achieving peace and security, and that is a stressing step that requires effective contribution from the UN. That is why we believe that it is important for the UN mission in Libya to be converted from a special political mission into a peacekeeping one to support and achieve stability and peace across the country. In response to Mr. Sio's unexpected move, Ghassan Salame, chief of the United Nations Support Mission in Libya, UNSMIL, told Al Jazeera Arabic last night that he was surprised by Mr. Sio's remarks. The mission has played a key role in brokering ceasefire in Tripoli through the Zoya Agreement, which led to the establishment of the Security Arrangements Committee, and that has been done by what is basically a political mission, explained Mr. Salame. It's possible that Mr. Sayala appreciates such role and wants us to continue, and perhaps he wishes that we do more of this political role. I will ask for a clarification from the head of the Presidency Council as to whether there is such a Libyan request. Anyway, the mission's role is to be decided by the Security Council. In fairness to Mr. Sayala, his idea is not exactly new and has been raised by others during the recent violence in Tripoli, which killed 117 people. In 2017, the UN was reported to have deployed a force comprising 210 Nepalese guards to protect UNSMIL headquarters in Janzi's Palm City. Aside from this unexpected request, Mr. Sayala's speech was balanced and unbiased. And as Italy prepares for a Libya conference in Sicily, which many say is designed to undo the Paris Agreement reached in May, Mr. Sayala opened his speech by highlighting, albeit subtly, the negative impact on his country by the Franco-Italian rivalry. We underscore the need to coordinate these efforts and to avoid any competition when initiatives are launched, because this clearly would confuse and lessens the chances of overcoming the crisis. We believe that we need to coordinate with the United Nations before holding regional or international meetings on Libya to ensure that the outcomes are compatible with the UN vision for solving the Libyan crisis. Update, the 1st of October 2018. GNA's foreign ministry today issued a clarification that Mr. Siayala's remarks were not aimed at calling for UNSMIL to be converted into a peacekeeping mission, but at encouraging the UN to take more active and direct involvement in the Libyan case, and that UNSMIL's political track should not be separated from a security track. The statement added, the aim behind the request was to give the UN a more effective role to ensure that there are no gaps in UNSMIL's mandate that would allow other countries to intervene to impose their own visions. It was also a clear request for the international community to involve GNA Foreign Ministry in drafting the UNSMIL mandate.
There's apparently different kinds of vehicle patrols. Counter-rocket launching patrols is one of them. There's also patrolling on the blue line. Some are done in coordination with Lebanese armed forces and some are not. But they all have one main goal, which is to maintain security and peace in the southern area of Lebanon. This is another house where the Indonesians are doing in-house nursing. He has done an accident 1.5 years ago, and he just recently did surgery. He had a fracture in his bones. He said the Indonesians, they come here every day and they take care of his leg, they give him medical assistance, and they're all for free.
Selamat ulang tahun Tentara Nasional Indonesia 74 tahun Tentara Nasional Indonesia Garuda.
Thank you so much for supporting Lebanon.
Happy 74th anniversary to the Indonesian Armed Forces.
السلام عليكم، أنا حسين من لبنان. عيد سعيد للقوات المسلحة الإندونيسية. Happy anniversary 74 years for Indonesian Armed Force.
السلام عليكم، أنا محمد من لبنان. عيد سعيد للقوات المسلحة الإندونيسية.
Thank you for your support. You have done a great job as peacekeepers in Lebanon. We are proud of you.
Garuda.
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 Daerah misi di Lebanon, kami, kontingen Garuda Unifil 2019 mengucapkan Dirgahayu Tentara Nasional Indonesia ke-74. Semoga TNI selalu profesional serta menjadi kebanggaan masyarakat. Salam Garuda.
Garuda!